Hey, John Rowe.
The topic of the
We should do a
podcast
podcast.
together,
We
and
should do a
obviously I'm
podcast.
excited.
Roy John. Hey, John Rowe. We should do a podcast.
The topic of the podcast together, and honestly, I'm excited.
G'day, dorks, and welcome in to Lords of Dorktown, a podcast about anime, cartoons, and video games. I'm your host, Philip, and the dork joining me tonight is one of the most attractive men in the entire universe. I'm staring at his handsome face right now. He is an absolute legend of Lords of Dorktown, one of my best friends, Johnny Rowe. How you doing, buddy?
Good, bro. Fuck, it's good to see you. Missed
It's so good to see. I haven't seen you in it's been a minute, buddy. I haven't seen you in like a month or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just shoot the shit on the group chat for a bit. We haven't spoken face to face for a while. How much do I owe you for that intro, by the way?
It's on the house. It's on the house this time. You always get one freebie.
One freebie, yeah.
One freebie. Oh man, we've got an absolute monster of an episode to get into today. Before we talk about any anime or any nonsense, I have an absolute ripper of a new segment. A new segment called Can I Take Your Order? It's all about fast food. We talk about it a whole bunch on this.
We always seem to talk about it when we get together, you and me.
So we're going to condense it down in its own little segment with its own little theme song. So this is Can I Take Your Order? Let's hear that theme song.
Can I take your order, please? Let's eat to the beat. You like it, you love it, you know you really want it. The voices I hear when
Yeah, so Can I Take Your Order? A very special segment about our very most favourite thing. Our most favourite thing, fast food takeout, buddy. Now, there has been some big news in the Australian fast food community.
Monstrous news.
Monstrous news. So KFC, I don't know if anyone out there has seen this or if they've purchased this or if it's on anyone else's radar, but KFC, my good friend, have started doing Kentucky Fried Donut Balls. Have you had a chance to get your lips on some of those balls?
You know what? I have not. I've been told I'm not allowed to eat them by my partner. But I'm going to sneak them eventually. Eventually,
Yeah.
there's going to come a time where I'm just by myself and I can duck off the KFC and grab a handful of those donut balls, because don't they look fucking delicious?
Mate, they look awesome, and I have gone in on them, obviously. I went in on them, I was day one, lined up, you know.
Day one?
No, I don't know if I was day one, but I was pretty. As soon as I saw the advertisement, I went there that day. And as soon as I drove past one, I swung through and picked up some donut balls. I mean, and honestly, they're okay.
They are?
They're
I'm worried they'd be pretty trash.
I have a few issues with them. They're crispy on the outside, which is great, with a beautiful cinnamon sugar, which is finger licking good, but in a different way. But the insides are just very boring.
Oh, really?
Just boring. The outside is great. The sugar and cinnamon is amazing. Good ratio, good mix. The insides are a bit boring, but I come up with a little KFC hack that made them very much better. I don't know why I'm saying very much better to everything today, but
It's just a little bit more than better, so it's very much better.
Exactly. So what I did, are you aware of the KFC mousse?
No. You
Yes.
just blew my mind, bro.
KFC has had a mousse on the menu for years. It has been their
really?
staple dessert for years, and everyone sleeps on it. But KFC has a beautifully rich dark chocolate mousse that they have offered.
Do you reckon it's actually dark chocolate?
It is, no, I've had it many times. It is a dark chocolate mousse. It is very
sick.
rich, dark chocolate mousse. So the other day, after I got the donut balls the first time, I was like, they're pretty good. I can make this better. So the next
So you
time
had
I
to
went
get 'em a
there,
second time.
I got the Kentucky Fried Donut Balls and I got the mousse. Man, if you dip those warm, sugary cinnamon donut balls into that rich dark chocolate mousse, you have a gourmet dessert on your hands, my friends. It is fantastic.
Right, you need to. I mean, KFC really needs to get you on board for their for the way they're selling it. I mean, you're upselling mousse as well. I didn't even know mousse was on the fucking menu.
Oh,
and
man,
you are.
there's
You've already sold it to me. I
so
guarantee
many-
I'm going to go get that.
So many people sleep on the mousse at KFC. It's fucking infuriating. It's
I thought
so
they
good.
only had the shakers. Or what are they called?
Oh, the
Crushers.
Crushers, man. The
The
Crushers have been
Crushers,
gone
yeah.
for years. Oh, like months now. Yeah. The Crushers have been gone since like 2020 or something like that.
Oh, what? They don't even have them?
Nah.
Oh, bro, I'm trash. What the fuck?
Crushers have been gone for ages, son. Anyway, I think that wraps up another week's segment of Can I Take Your Order? Unless you have any fast food news you need to share with us,
That
Jono?
was smooth, bro. No, I haven't had any. Oh, wait up. No, I haven't had anything new recently. I don't think.
Oh, we'll check
I had
back in on.
I had a triple quarter pounder the other day. I regret it completely. But other than that, no.
Man, one day the Can I Take Your Order segment will just do a pounder review. For anyone out there who doesn't know what a pounder is a quarter pounder with four meat patties, 5 slices of cheese because you're throwing an extra
Yeah.
one just in case. And yeah, you eat that and it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, it's not pretty, but
No.
it's definitely like an ego food kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that wraps up another segment of Can I Take Your Order? We'll be back on this segment anytime there's fun and interesting news in the fast food world. So hopefully every week.
And don't worry, we'll be all around it.
Jono, you've been kind of blowing up the group chat lately with some hot anime news. Have you got some hot anime news for us, buddy?
Yeah, big take, dorks. We've got a couple of huge announcements. So, firstly, there's going to be a continuation of the Dragon Ball Super sagas. So they're moving into the next arc. I won't give too many spoilers away, but I could probably say a world eater is something to describe the next big villain. Is pretty dope. Yeah,
Okay.
keep an eye out for that, guys. If anyone that did enjoy the Super arc, it's kind of a little bit different. It's not going to be like the fighting tournament where it was kind of just power scaling, really. This one's a bit more broad scope. And it kind of a bit more like reminds me a bit more of GT, where
really?
it's more out in space, like they go to different planets, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And the huge one, and it has been confirmed as far as I can tell. There was a lot of talk about it being fake news, but I did a bit of research and it seems to be it's legit. Is finally Solo Leveling, the greatest maybe. Personally, I don't think it's as good as Tower of God, but
Yeah.
it is pretty much the highest ranking webtoon at the moment. Is finally getting its first anime season. Have you read Solo Leveling, Phil?
No. It has been recommended to me by, I would say, no less than like 15 people have probably recommended it to me in the last 6 months. It's definitely the probably highest on my list to read when it comes to like reading manga or webtoons.
Yeah.
I unfortunately just picked up, I just started a new series that I'm going to finish first before I pick up anything else.
I'll plug it. What are you reading?
I'm reading the manga called Chainsaw Man. It is fantastic. It too is getting an anime adaptation coming out like I think it's the end of 2021, like the next winter season maybe.
Yep.
I could be wrong though. It's very similar to what we'll be talking about later today, Jujutsu Kaisen. It's fucking fantastic, man. Chainsaw Man's is brilliant. Anyone out there who is aware of Chainsaw Man in any capacity knows exactly what I'm talking about here. It is brilliant. But Solo Leveling, I'm so fascinated about Solo Leveling. So for a complete layman like myself, can you kind of break down what we can expect from the Solo Leveling anime coming out later?
Yeah, so Solo Leveling, basically a little bit of world building. It's kind of everyone just somehow started getting blessed with like these powers, and they were all kind of in the genre of RPG fantasy adventure. So you've got like wizards, you've got knights, paladins, templars, healers, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, the list goes on, and everybody in the world when they get their power is kind of graded,
Yeah.
and you're set at that grading. You can only reawaken once, but not every. It's like 1% of the population does it. So we follow the main character, and he's classed as an E rank character. So he's the bottom of the barrel. He's just the small fish. He can't really do anything, and he kind of gets in on this raid. Blah blah blah. A lot of stuff happens, and he ends up getting a reawakening, but it's kind of a glitch power almost. So he kind of breaks the system.
Oh yeah.
And he becomes the only person who can continually level up the more he does. So obviously solo leveling, he's the only guy that can do it, and he's the only one that can level up. So it kind of follows his journey, the way he kind of becomes the strongest almost. It is so well done that I'm sure that they're going to pump the anime out, because they just pretty much have the source material is as picture perfect as you would want it on the screen. Unlike the adaptation of Tower of God, where the start of that is quite a lower quality, and then it moves into a much higher quality. This one, just from the get-go, is super high quality. So I'm expecting a lot of episodes to come out really quickly, which is fantastic.
That's interesting to me. So, like, with the webtoons that have been made into anime, so your Tower of God you mentioned, God of High School, and Noblesse, they've all kind of struggled with the first season so far. They've all had very rocky first seasons. A lot of it, I would say, is probably the number of episodes they've been given. They haven't been given large enough... Well, God of High School didn't get a large enough run of episodes for the content that it covered. Noblesse, I'd probably say the same. Yeah, Tower of God probably was the most fleshed out and therefore did the best. But again, they still cut out a lot of that. And the first season of... As you said before, the first season of Tower of God, and even when we reviewed it, we mentioned this multiple times. The first season of Tower of God is a prelude. It's the chapter 0. It's not chapter 1. You know what I mean? Like it's
100%. It's almost like they're kind of just like testing it out. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So this solo leveling, if do you think it can break this curse of shaky first seasons of the
It is
webtoons?
A behemoth of a webtoon. Like literally, like my apps crash on Thursday morning because so many people are getting on the servers trying to read it. I mean, I read it legitimately, and it's just such high traffic that it just blows up the internet every time it's dropping a chapter now.
Wow.
So I think initially it's going to do fantastic anyway because it has so
much hype around it.
So much hype, such a big community already. The comment section on each chapter is hundreds and hundreds of comments. So yeah, it'll be really good. It'll have it'll probably have a great backing already as well. Like there'd probably be more money put into it.
Yeah. I mean, like the webtoon, like as a platform has just published and put out like so many amazing series. Like we've had, I don't know if you've read Unordinary, but it's like a similar version of like.
Yeah, I've got it on my list because you recommended it. I haven't started it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like very similar to My Hero and stuff like that. But like Tower of God, you know, Unordinary, all these Noblesse, all these amazing webtoons that are getting made into anime, and it's like hopefully this trend continues. I just worry that we might get a bit of a dilution of quality if they keep releasing too many, if you know what I mean.
Oh, it's coming hot and heavy, isn't it? Like
it is.
They seem to be steamrolling and kind of, snowballing and just getting bigger and quicker.
I feel like if Crunchyroll didn't, you know, take on 3 webtoon projects at the you know around the same time with Tower of God, God of High School, and Noblesse, and you know put all that effort into one, maybe that one would have done a whole lot better. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Or spaced them out a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, if they've got the rights to it, they can. I suppose if they want to jump on it early, I suppose before someone else grabs it, but.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's now that anime's blown up as much as it has, everyone's just trying to get a slice of the pie before the pie's gone.
It's huge now. Like,
it's massive.
And everywhere you go, like you can even go to fucking Pornhub and it'll be like number 1 search.
It's great. It's great. Speaking of huge anime, we are going to do a little quick segment of My Hero Minute. This is going to be a weekly segment of the podcast where I just quickly recap the weekly episode of My Hero Academia Season 5. We're up to episode 2 this week. Just full spoilers for all the episodes that I review for My Hero Academia. I'll try to keep it under a minute or two, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the episode, just hit that 15-second button until we are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. I'll try to keep it under a minute. Let's go!
My hero. Show me what I gotta do. Made up my mind, wanna be like you, don't care. Whatever you say, I know I'll resurface you. I know I will.
Okay, so Season 5, Episode 2, My Hero Academia, an amazing episode. We got to see Hawk and Endeavor, kind of their interaction straight after the Endeavor fight at the end of Season 4 with the Nomu. We see the Darby has a conversation with Hawk and Endeavor in the street. It is very heated. There's a lot of blue fire going on. It's very intense. And then we get to see the kind of backdoor dealings with Darby and Hawks in their secret arrangement, where it appears that Hawks is the traitor in the heroes and is trying to work for the League of Villains. It is revealed within the episode that Hawk is obviously undercover. He is an ultimate good boy and will never betray anyone. He is my absolute senpai, and I will not have a bad word spoken about him. Thank you.
I was feeling so cut. When like they were leading into him being the bad guy, and I was like, oh no, I really like Hawks.
Yeah. I love Hawks, and the Darby stuff we get in this episode is, it's so good. It's muy caliente. I love Darby. I love Hawks. I love Darby. I love Endeavor. This whole episode felt like it was catered for me because we spent the first half with Hawks, Endeavor, and Darby. We spend the middle part with Endeavor, Shoto, and his family dealing with like personal trauma. All very good. And the last third of the episode was Deku finally getting in touch with the previous holders of One for All in this kind of dream sequence thing. We get to
dope dream, by the way.
What's that?
Dope dream.
Oh,
even
so
in the manga,
great.
it was dope.
We get to see, the original holder of One for All and how he kind of got the power. He talks to Deku in this kind of dream sequence. It's very reminiscent of the Avatar: The Last Airbender reincarnation thing, where you can see the previous reincarnations.
All behind.
Yep, almost frame for frame, the same scene, and it's beautiful. As beautiful in this as it is in Avatar. And we see the original owner for One for All reach out and touch Deku's hand. Deku's covered in all this black fog and stuff, so he can't talk, he can't move, he doesn't see any of his body apart from the top of his head and his right hand. When he reaches out and touches the original owner for One for All, his hand glows the typical One for All red. And he wakes up, and as he wakes up, the glass in his dorm room shatters out the window. It's fucking amazing. It's such a good episode. I'm shocked. I'm a massive fan of My Hero Academia, and I'm shocked at how good this season's been so far. The intro episode was a banger from woe to go. It was amazing. And the second episode has followed up with a massive kick in the pants. We're finally seeing Deku explore One for All and what it's capable of, and we're getting a bit of the hints of that there's a lot more that we don't know. We're finally seeing a softer side of Endeavor and his family. We're seeing a bit more of the family dynamics, and I love that. We're seeing Shoto have a softer, more apologetic side to his father. We're seeing Endeavor trying to be softer, more apologetic to his kids. It's very emotional. I'm loving My Hero Academia Season 5 so much. I can barely contain myself, and that was definitely over a minute, but I'm done for now. Deep breath.
It's worth it.
Deep breath.
I want to say, though, a big plays for Endeavor's character. He made him a lot more likable.
Yeah,
for me personally.
I
hated the
I was a massive fan of Endeavor from the start. There was something about the whole tortured second hero thing. I found a bit of his things pretty dickish, when it comes to, the whole mother and stuff like that, but I thought his arc was super interesting, and as soon as this whole movement that's happening now in Season 5 where everyone's getting behind Endeavor, I'm fucking so on board. Oh, and also, the little hint to Natsu from Fairy Tail. I'll send you a clip, but there's a hint to Natsu, like a literal homage to Natsu in My Hero Academia, wearing the yellow scarf and everything, red hair. Basically, Natsu, and he's just this kid that shouts out Endeavor for being a hero, and he's being published everywhere, and it's this cool little weird through line. It's great.
Oh, sick! I didn't even click.
I'll send you a picture. It's fine. We've been going for 20 minutes, buddy. I think it's time to rip into the.
Let's get it.
Let's dig in. Let's hear that intro. After consuming a severed finger belonging to the king of all curses, Yuji, a naturally talented high school student, becomes the vessel for Sukuna and is thrust into the world of Jujutsu sorcery. Taken in by Tokyo Jujutsu High, Yuji is trained to exercise curses and how to manipulate and use cursed energy. All of this while the king of demons grows stronger inside Yuji, waiting to escape and take back the world he once ruled. Now, let's dive in to Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. Yes, we are talking about the much hyped and anticipated Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh my god, brother.
Yeah.
So, what's your background with this anime and manga?
Well, the anime, I'm completely up to date with the manga. I devoured the manga like Sukuna's fingers. I seriously read the entire 140 odd chapters.
Is it only 140 chapters?
It is, but season 1 only goes up to chapter 62, maybe.
Well, that's pretty tempting
So
for me
24
just to start at chapter 62 and just go hell for leather.
You can definitely start at chapter 62. No problem. Between 60 to 62 is where you want to pick up. If for all the dorks out there that want to continue and can't wait, definitely start around the 60-62 mark. It's very like I went through like the episode lists and everything's in there. The manga in the first season might have a couple of scenes which look different, but the story plays out exactly the same. And I only picked it up because you started watching the anime. You blew it up on my feed. Kind of, you were saying this is amazing. You and Jason were both talking about it.
Yeah, I mean,
finally got into it, and I tell you what, I love it. Like instantly loved it. There's a lot of tropes that are quite familiar, but also it's completely unique to me. So I'm in on it.
Yeah, I remember when this first came out. I remember the first episode when it got released. It trended worldwide, and I remember seeing it trending, and it was kind of surprising to me at the time that it was trending because I for one I hadn't heard of it to like before this. Like I think I may have seen the manga pop up on like the popular feed in like my legitimate paid for manga reading apps that I definitely pay for.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, it's only been running since late 2018.
Yeah. So, actually, that's surprising to me.
Yeah,
that is early. So maybe I'd seen it a few times there. I'd definitely seen Yuji like his face before on websites and stuff like that. But yeah, when the anime came out, I was definitely surprised, shocked that I hadn't heard of it. And as soon as I watched the first episode, I was like, yeah, I just understood why it was blowing up because that's fucking amazing.
That first episode, I did see the first episode, and plus, like I've read the manga twice now. What a great!
It's just so great, and I think it's weird because I think that this shonen, like Jujutsu Kaisen as a shonen, it's interesting to me that you think it's completely unique because I don't think it's unique at all, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, you find it similar to what things like Demon Slayer?
Well, I mean, if we're drawing conclusions, by the way, full spoilers for the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. Just go watch it; it's good. If we're drawing conclusions, like you can do Naruto and the Nine-Tailed Fox, with Yuji. That's like a massive trope.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. So the more tails, the more
Yeah.
fingers. Oh, okay. You've just blown that out of the water.
You've got
because I was like,
Megumi, his kind of his friend, the other Jujutsu sorcerer alongside of him, who's basically,
Nobaru, the trio. Is that what you're talking about?
Megumi.
Yeah, and Nobaru,
Yeah.
girl with the hammer.
Yeah, they're basically Naruto and Sakura Light.
Yeah, I did.
Actually, I don't want to put Nabaru and Sakura in the same context. Nabaru is a fucking beast. Just
100%. And plus, she hates them at the start.
yeah,
too.
exactly.
She's not a sucker.
Like even story structure wise, the arc we get with the school tournament arc, the way that plays out is very reminiscent to the conclusion of the tournament arc in Naruto, the Chunin exams, where midway during the tournaments we have Orochimaru invade. Midway through the Kyoto school exchange fight, we have the upper level demons invade, or the upper level curses, sorry. Like, there's a lot of similarities you can draw with a lot of other shonens. So yeah, I don't think it's unique, but that's not an issue because it's doing even though it's doing all the tropes we're familiar with, it's doing them perfectly.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would agree that the tropes are definitely not unique. I kind of feel more it's more of a unique way, as in like kind of how I felt about Demon Slayer at the time, saying it's unique and then relating it to Demon Slayer, but more the brutality of it.
Yeah.
It caught me off guard, like when they step into the detention facility.
Oh yeah.
And then for one, they're sending in the new guys to this super dangerous area, which I thought was pretty interesting. I didn't really understand it at the time, but then you see literally human meat bags just balled up into these tiny balls.
Yeah,
and
man.
I was just like, oh, this is different. This is different. Like, you're not going to see that in nothing.
I think the most in like the anime, like the grossest. Oh, I wouldn't say the grossest, but like the most gorish thing is in the last few episodes. Like I think it's episode 24 when they're Yuji and Nobaru, Nobara are fighting the Butterfly Brothers, or the
Curse Worms.
the Curse Worm Brothers, and Nobaru is just like nailing nails through her own
She's a savage.
own arm and stuff like that. And there's this when she uses her hairpin curse technique to finish off one of the brothers.
Yep.
Like that is like gruesome as like it is really violent.
She's self-mutilating.
Oh.
Like it's a pretty shitty technique, but it works, huh?
Oh, it's so great. I have a lot of questions for you. You being a manga reader over an anime.
Yep. Manga, but whatever.
Yeah, doesn't. Email me again, weebs who get angry that I say manga. Do it. I dare you. I dare you. I'll ignore you even harder this time. Anyway.
Come at me, bro. Us.
For an anime that's so visually spectacular, is that well depicted in the manga?
You know what? I thought the manga did really good. Then like seeing like the big scenes in the anime, I was like, oh, this just looks so much better.
Yeah.
It's not like something like God of High School where they're super. Well, yeah, they are pretty detailed. I guess no, that's kind of a bad one. Like Demon Slayer, sorry, where they're quite accurate with how they depict the fighting and whatnot. I especially take the first episode for example. They changed the choreography and the way the fight played out a little bit.
Interesting.
Definitely looked better. So I would say as fulfilling as everything is in the manga and you can follow it exactly how it's meant to be, they've done an incredible job in the anime of choreographing what's outside of the panels in the manga.
That's great. That's
especially Goto. Goto. He's just such a beast. Man. He's such a beast.
I'm like, I'm so not ready to talk about the Lord and Daddy Senpai of all senpais. Like, we'll save him for later because I don't want to.
Those
I
eyes.
can't record with a heart on for that long. It would kill me. I'd pass out. I couldn't do it. That first episode is that like it's such a good first shonen episode. Like it sets up the world, sets up the premise. We learn a little bit about cursed energy, and it caps off the first episode where you get to see the kind of the upper limit of what cursed energy can do when you see, you know, Daddy Senpai Goji kind of going all infinite on Sakuna? I'd say Sakuna, yeah.
Sakuna.
That's that, and like it's awesome. So you get introduced to the world, you get to see where these powers can go, and we also get introduced to Yuji, who is your basic, very vanilla anime protagonist, and he's great. I love the fact that they made him very vanilla, very plain, your very basic run-of-the-mill, kind-hearted, thick-skulled anime protagonist, because he fits that...
Yeah, with an absolute superhuman body.
Yeah, an insane body, which I have theories about that I kind of want to talk in a little bit of like a sealed section later.
Yeah, we can talk about that because it hasn't been revealed yet, so it will.
Oh, awesome! So it doesn't have to be sealed then. Yeah, I love it. I love that first episode, especially. So you said you watched that first episode of the anime, right?
Yep.
When Yuji makes his entrance through the window above the cursed demon, it is fantastic. It is the most gangster intro I've ever seen. Like he just rips through the building, does like a few spins, and then punches him real hard. Like it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like he doesn't say it, but you can definitely tell Megumi is just like, how the fuck did you get up here? Like he's on like the 4th floor.
Yeah. He also broke a world record in like the first 10 minutes of the episode in shot put. It's insane.
Yeah. Bro, he cucked his teacher so hard, man.
And I like how the first episode is so very different to what the show actually is. Like, there's a little part of me that was kind of bummed that we don't get to see any more of the occult club and that kind of relationship of Yuji's life. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I thought that would be more involved, the whole occult thing.
I loved the occult club. It was so fun.
They did not want to buy it after that, especially old mate with the maggot sucking, face sucking.
Yeah,
thing.
the chick that got like brought into the curse, and the curse was very handsy by the looks of it. It was quite confronting to watch. I like how.
Actually, you know what? Totally. Again, now I'm just thinking about how it relates to everything. When the curse is walking through the hall and it's saying, "Oh, what time is it?" Right, that's just straight up the moving house out of Demon Slayer.
Oh God, it is too.
He's beating on the drum and he's just walking through and he's just asking. I can't remember what he was asking, but he was asking a question.
Yeah.
I was like, that's very, very reminiscent
and like,
of that to me.
Watching this through, and like you know, upon reflection, there's a lot of things that this is drawing influence on, or you know, like, and at first when I started noticing all these similarities, I was kind of like, oh, it kind of sucks that it's so similar to all these things that I've watched before, but it's doing them perfectly, and there's something comforting about seeing a trope of a genre you love being done perfectly. And
and not saying it doesn't feel.
No, it doesn't.
You can link it, but it doesn't feel when you consume.
No,
it.
exactly, because we've seen it done before, and this time we're seeing it again. But it's not like we're seeing it with new eyes or anything. It's just refreshing to see something done so well. I think that's the best way I can put it. It's refreshing because it's just done so well. They hit all the points you want a shonen action adventure horror series to hit, because that's what it's: shonen action adventure and horror, and it's hitting every single one of those boxes perfectly. Like really Supernatural as well. Like I love it. I really do love it.
Yeah, I agree. I like the going back to like your character design of Yuji. I like how when he transforms like into Sukuna, but again you're just like the tattoos though. Like, but I think the whole tattoo thing is also a cultural reference.
Yeah, the whole
they did it in Demon Slayer with number 3 or 4 High Moon.
Yeah.
but I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
it's interesting. The actual design of Sukuna, like especially when he's transforming with Yuji, I actually provided a few moments that I actually found like laugh out loud funny. Like when they retrieve Sukuna's finger from the under the bridge kind of arc at the end of the series, when they're handing the finger back and they're like, Yuji's like, I won't eat it. Obviously, I'm not an idiot. You can tell me not to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. And then he just summons the mouth on his hand. It's I actually laughed. It's very funny.
Yeah, me too. Even in the manga, I laughed, and then I watched it in the anime, and it was even funnier.
It's just very funny. And
I tell you what. Sorry,
oh, you're right.
Just in terms of laughing and comparisons between anime and manga, Goto is so hilarious in the anime.
He
doesn't quite come. Well, you definitely know he's goofy in the manga, but he's actually he's just always taking the piss in the anime.
He is fantastic in every regard. I'm semi talking just about it. Like I can't. We need to hold off, mate. I'm edging on Gojo. We'll wait.
I'm gonna edge you all the way to the end of the episode.
Let's talk about some characters though, because we've talked a lot about Yuji, a little about Megami, and a little about Nobara. I want to talk about the second year students because we get a lot of play with them during the Kyoto exchange event.
Yep.
I love that arc. I think it's a fantastic arc, and I love any tournament arc. I'm a fucking sucker for a shonen.
Yeah, you're a big one for
I
tournament.
love tournament arcs. Why would any anime ever not want to do a tournament arc? Honestly,
all the good ones do as well.
all the good ones do.
Actually, you're the one that brought that to my attention.
Tournament arcs.
Yeah, everything that's really successful has like a tournament kind of coming of age thing.
It's always tournament arc in like the first 50 episodes is like a guaranteed for success. It's the best thing to do. So with the second years, I hated Panda at the start. I thought it was dumb. Like I remember seeing like you got to see little clips of him in the intro. And I was like, a panda? This is fucking stupid. What's this?
I was like, what is this tech?
Yeah. My exact first thought was like, is this like a Tekken thing? Are they copying Tekken now?
Pick Panda.
That all fell by the wayside when Panda got his moment to shine in the Kyoto exchange event. It is phenomenal. Him versing the robot dude, Mekamaru, is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, and his little backstory.
Yeah, and like the whole, I'm not a puppet. Again, I was drawing conclusions between Panda and Konkuru from Naruto, Puppet Masters, all that stuff. That's probably one. Not Panda, Megamaru and Konkuru.
Megamaru,
yeah.
Anyway. Sorry, yeah. I was being like Panda and the puppets.
No. Sorry.
But yeah, no, that makes sense. Megamaru, yeah.
I loved all that. I thought it was fantastic. Togi, the curse voice user, is phenomenal.
Super interesting, that character, actually.
So
I don't sorry.
Do you think that the other teammates he has, the other second years and the first years, understand him when he's just reciting the ingredients for, is it tuna sushi?
Yeah, it's I think it's any sushi.
No, it's specifically tuna rolls.
It could be, yeah. I think Panda's the only one that can fully understand him, right?
It seems to be. It's never specified, or at least I didn't pick up on it that it was specified. But it seems like Panda fully. It basically seems like everyone understands him. There's even a few stray lines from the Kyoto students being like, do you know what he's saying? Do you?
Yeah, they have no idea.
The fuck.
I think I think the other guys probably spend enough time with him where they just know. I think. I'm trying to like reel back in the manga. I don't think they ever really explain why they can understand him. I think it's just because they're good friends.
His ability seems to have the least like high risk, low reward because he basically can't speak normally, and his ability is not that powerful when you consider he can't use it that long, and if you're aware of it, you can prevent it.
Well, yeah, if you know it's coming, you can cover your ears, you can prevent it. But I think it's the kind of like the whole trade-off thing because they actually reference the whole trade-off a little bit. his power is like an absolute power if he can get it off.
Yeah, okay.
He can. No one can resist
Yeah.
it.
It'd be
So-
interesting to see if he gets a domain later. No spoilers, but I'd fucking love that.
Yeah, no spoilers. He gets like there's a sprinkling of Togi everywhere because, like you said, he can't use his power too often.
Yeah, exactly. We only see him use
so
it once,
he-
or once in one fight.
He uses it a few times through the series. He's a very key instrument. He's kind of like a black hole trap card, you know, like
Yeah.
going to change the whole game kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's not sustainable. That's for sure in combat. So
I found it so fascinating through this whole series. Anytime that they go into anyone's cursed ability, I was so fascinated. I think the last time I was this fascinated about the way someone uses their cursed ability was Hunter x Hunter with Nen. But the cursed abilities I understand. Nen I don't.
yeah, Nen, fuck.
Like it's
Nen's impossible.
it's still interesting. Like I find it so interesting to learn about how, you know, Nen works with certain abilities and certain characters. I never do understand it, obviously, because it's fucking like quantum physics. It's bullshit.
Yeah, they need a textbook on it.
But cursed energy I get, you know?
Yeah, they do a good job of fleshing out the abilities for each of them.
Out of these characters we get in the first season, did you have a favourite when it comes to how they use their cursed abilities?
Ooh, good question. That's a good question. I think, well, talking about cursed abilities, I think just special mention to like Maki Zenin for having fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And just being an absolute boss bitch. She's kind of like the female Yuji before he could even use his cursed energy.
Yeah, and her her cursed objects are like fantastic to watch. Her fight where she's using I think it's Cloud Buster or something like that.
Oh, I can't remember the name.
Yeah, it's like the three-pronged staff. The same weapon type that Barn uses from Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah, the three-section staff.
It's wicked. She's amazing. A massive shout-out to her for being a non-curse user. It's fucking fantastic.
And she cops a lot of shit for that too.
Yeah, and it's all
But,
all built in well. You get an explanation as to why she cops shit for it. Like, it's all justified. It's great. It's fucking so good.
Yeah. I definitely... But in terms of the other guys who actually have cursed abilities, I think I'm probably going to pick Toto when he's Boogie Woogie.
Oh, Boogie Woogie. Oh, fuck, I love Boogie Woogie.
Boogie Woogie. For starters, what a name.
So good. And also, like in the anime, when he does his little clap, he does like a hip thrust and it's all very stylized and very cute.
He really gets
It's
into
so
it.
nice. We haven't talked about Toto at all. I love that man.
Toto's like one of my favourite characters.
And such a quick turnaround between... Because I hated him when he was introduced because you're meant to hate him.
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously
I
built
feel
to be
exactly
a
the same.
villain. But, you know, after his little fight with Yuji, and he kind of decides, based on Yuji's perfect woman, that they're going to be best friends. And since then, it's great.
Yeah, I mean that's so stupid, and clearly like they play him off as like he's supposed to like come off when he's a person, he's dumb as hell,
Yeah.
and just there's no substance to him. But then on the flip side of his coin, as a sorcerer, when he needs to be a sorcerer, he's literally the smartest person there.
Yeah,
But they talk about how he's like the highest combat IQ out of anyone.
they demonstrate it so well in the manga, and in the anime, sorry. I've never seen another anime do this where... Oh, well, I've seen plenty of other anime do this where they stop mid-battle and everything goes dark, and then you hear the inner monologue of the character being like, oh, well, it looks like he's going to do this and it's going to do this, so I'll do that. So they do that whole thing with Toto, and then at the end of it, when he decides what he's going to do, you just see a little disclaimer down the bottom like, that decision took 0.01 seconds to make. And it's like, fuck yeah, it did, Toto. Are you kidding me, brother? It's so sick.
He's done paragraphs of thinking, but it all happens instantly.
I love that. And the way he uses Boogie Woogie in that fight against the
Hanami.
yeah, I couldn't think.
The tree, the spirit of the forest.
Yeah, spirit of the earth, isn't it? It's the spirit of the earth. Yeah,
Earth, yeah.
is amazing. It's so fantastic, and that whole fight with him and Yuji is the most kinetic feeling fight we get throughout this whole series, because it's basically all hand-to-hand combat. So it's got this nice kinetic flow. It's animated spectacularly. It's fantastic, and it's not even the best fight we get in this series. It's fucking... In 24 episodes, I would say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6 standout fights. And that's...
Yeah, which are, like, absolutely epic.
Yeah. It's, like, incredibly good. For me, if I was going to pick a favourite cursed ability user, if I wasn't going to go Gojo, because it's obviously Gojo... for everyone, I love Megami. I think his, shadow clone / summons are fantastic. He gets...
Yeah. The Chimera shadow.
Yeah, and we get to see his, almost him successfully do a domain in the last fight.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And he's the only, outside of Gojo, he's the only one that is a human that you see use a domain, right?
Yeah, we don't see any. Like, I think it's implied that there is obviously other sorcerers who can use domains. But yeah, it's fantastic, and we get his summons are so interesting. Like, we get the winged frogs, we get the wolves, and we get the 2 forms of the wolves because he loses one wolf and then it transforms into another combined wolf, and we get the weird elephant with the massive trunk that explodes all that sick water that's animated like the water from Demon Slayer. It's fucking wicked.
Yeah.
The lightning owls. Like, it's so cool. It's fucking insane.
Yeah. What do they call it? The Nu or the NU?
Yeah, NU, yeah.
How to pronounce it. He's another high intelligence kind of combatant too. He's the only summoner as far as I remember. Yeah, he's the only summoner.
Yep. And because that's a special clan technique that only he possess, well, very few members of the clan possess. Yeah. So that was interesting. I liked all the stuff with the clan. Before we blow our absolute load on Gojo, I do have some negative things about this show. Like, there's a lot of things that are getting it for Jujutsu Kaisen, like the fights, the anime, the character development, the designs. There's a lot of good things, but a few things that are not getting it for me. I think the pacing is a bit off. It either feels... Episodes either feel really rushed with everything that's happening, or they feel like there's nothing happening. It's never a comfortable pace. I always feel like it's breakneck or snail.
Yeah.
So
I think I was reading the episode lists, and a couple of the episodes, like, literally nothing happened.
Yeah, there's a...
Well, not literally, but
No.
close enough to nothing
Yeah,
happened.
like, nothing happens, and then there's episodes where in, like, 20 minutes, like, the amount of things that you've learned and the amount of things that have happened is it's astronomical. Yeah, so the pacing's a bit off for me, and I think I think I'm concerned for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Because it's blown its load very early, and I don't know how much it can... Okay. Big shake of the head from John.
I'm just... Bro, no, that's a big shake of the head. I can guarantee you they've only fucking... They're on the prees at the moment.
Oh,
bro.
very good. Very good.
Enough of those references. You'll be happy to know that the next season is one whole arc for sure. And it's just full on. Like, there will be no pauses in the next one for sure.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I was just a little bit concerned because this first season was so good, and maybe it's like a bit of the My Hero feeling because the My Hero was so huge and so bombastic for the first couple of seasons, and then we had a dip season 3, season 4, and hopefully we're out of that dip in season 5. I just get a touch concerned when something's very good from the start, because it's always like, oh, if it's this good now, can it sustain this for the amount of episodes that a shonen like this wants to run for?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I definitely like I was flicking ahead of where the anime finishes again, just like reading from around 60 to maybe 80.
Yeah.
And then, so there's 20 chapters where there's a small in-between before the next major arc. They might be slow there, but what you're changing up for like the epic action is like very well fleshed out kind of backgrounds for certain characters. And they have such interesting backgrounds. So I'm very confident that the next season will be like a heavy hitter again. It's kind of like Attack on Titan, where like the first season was amazing. Second season was, and then it just got better and better and better. Like I can guarantee the content that's going to come in the following seasons will be very juicy.
That's
very, very juicy.
Okay, that's good to know. Do you have anything that's an overall what's getting it, what's not getting it for you for this series? I haven't really thought about that. Like I think what is probably not getting out, and now it's kind of a bit more apparent, is some of the things that are kind of feel very similar to certain other titles. But I'd say things kind of like when Toto was just like, oh, you're my brother now. I was like, I kind of didn't really get it. Yeah.
Like, does he have a mental disability or not? Like, he legitimately thinks he's his brother.
Yeah.
But then later on, maybe in those 10 chapters in the next season, there's another person that starts to do it, and then I'm like, wait, is this a thing? So I was kind of thrown off a little bit by some of the reasonings of certain characters around Yuji. But I liked how. I want to talk about like how they were just going to kill him straight away, and then the fact that he actually got killed.
Yeah.
Like we kind of I thought that was super sick. How Sukuna was just like, oh, I'm going to take him hostage.
Yeah, well,
just rips his own heart.
Yeah,
out.
well, it's like that thing where I foolishly assumed when watching it, I was like, well, obviously, if the vessel dies, the demon dies, so the vessel's going to do everything to keep the demon alive. So I was assuming it'd be that kind of situation where if Yuji was ever in, life-threatening thing, obviously the demon's going to come out and save the day, and he does that. He does that once during the series, which is justified. But when he just straight up rips his heart out, he's like, no, I don't fucking need a heart. I'm a demon. What are you talking about? Like, I'm a curse.
Yeah.
I don't fucking need this. This is useless meat.
I know, and they never explained why it didn't affect him.
I think it's just because he's a curse. Well, he's the big daddy of all curses,
No, but because Yuji died, though.
Yeah.
Like, Yuji physically died. And it was like, but when he dies, this curse, what was he in? A part of him was supposed to get destroyed at least.
Yeah.
Neither of those things happened, so maybe because it was a suicide thing, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do want to... We mentioned it earlier, but I do want to talk a bit about a theory that I've heard about Yuji and his physical prowess. So, it is mentioned throughout season 1 that you can make like a heavenly pact with a curse kind of thing, like family ties make curse pacts, so that children born into the certain families will be gifted certain curse abilities. It's mentioned that like Maki and her sister, something similar happened to them, where instead of being gifted a curse, like the ability to use curse energy, she was gifted with like a god tier body, like god tier strength, stamina,
and the trade off was 0 curse.
Yeah.
energy.
So, do you think that Yuji had a similar thing with his birth, where they've made some sort of like his parents that we don't know anything about? Well, I don't know anything about. Have made some sort of pact with curses that he be a potential vessel or something like that.
Oh, I've racked my brain because it's the biggest mystery through the entire series, and it gets even bigger mystery through what's like if you're up to date with the manga. And I kind of think like he must come from a clan that no one knows about.
Yeah, I was figuring the same thing, yeah.
Well, because I didn't... In the anime, do you get the flashbacks of him training?
No.
Okay, so it's not a spoiler because it does happen early. Like, you do at one point in the manga, he gets like a little flashback of how he's just like practicing martial arts with his grandfather.
Oh, okay.
So his grandfather definitely taught him martial arts. That's been shown.
Yeah.
But you don't see anything else, and they're in a dojo as well. So it makes me think like he's got to be from a clan of some sort that nobody knows about, because not even like Gojo knows about where he's from. And you'd think that guy knows everything.
Yeah, it's also interesting to me that there's no character motivation for Yuji to find out where he's from. He doesn't seem to be overly concerned about anything to do with his past. He seems very determined to be in the present.
Away from it almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he doesn't, like, other than that one flag, you get nothing. You really get nothing. And apart from that, like, when he gets questioned by the principal, he's kind of just like, I want to do it because my grandpa said help people. And the principal was like, fuck off, that's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, there goes that link. So it's a mystery, but I do think I'd put my money on that he's part of some secret clan, to be honest.
Your cable TV is experiencing difficulties. Please do not panic. Resist the temptation to read or talk to loved ones. Do not attempt sexual relations, as years of TV radiation have left your genitals withered and useless.
Well, I'll be damned.
And we're back. Technical difficulties there. So that's going to be a bit of a hard edit, but sure. I can't remember what we were talking about before. So do we want to just rip into Gojo now? We've kind of been edging this whole episode. Do we want to...
I'm going to edge you just one more time.
Oh, Daddy, please,
one
no.
thing I want to talk about.
Such a sexual
One thing
episode.
I wanted to mention... too many dick references. The one thing I wanted to talk about, which I'm interested in, is what happened during... between when Sukuna ripped out Yuji's heart and him coming back to life, when they're talking to each other in Sukuna's kind of fucking skull death palace.
Yeah, okay. The kind of contract they make.
That's what I'll talk about. Yeah, the contract. What were your thoughts on that? Because I really think that was one of the most important things that happened in season 1.
And we don't actually see the ramifications, or what the ramifications of that are going to be
Exactly.
yet. So,
I really feel like that was a setup.
oh yeah, massive setup.
big one.
So wait, what's the contract again? So Sukuna gets to take over Yuji's body without and he...
Sukuna's allowed to say a word. I think there's a word.
Yeah,
he's
so
allowed to
a
say.
word triggers that, and he will take over Yuji's body, but he can't kill any of his friends.
He won't massacre people.
Yeah, he won't massacre people.
Which is very loose.
Yeah.
When you're talking about killing people, I won't massacre people.
It feels like
I'll just kill a few.
It feels like a very monkey paw wish. Like, it feels like you fucked up on that one. Like, the finer details needed to be ironed out in that sumbitch.
Oh, exactly. And Yuji's such an idiot because he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll take you on," and instantly dies.
Yeah, of course he.
Instantly dies. Sukuna played him so hard.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you feel about that, but I feel like that's going to be a massive setup for something towards the end.
And
whichever path.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that also in the deal is that Yuji has no memory of that, no memory of the original deal. So that was a fascinating thing. I'm glad you brought it up, actually. That's such a fascinating thing, and I can't wait to get the reveal of that. And I know guessing what's going to happen to the person who knows what's going to happen is completely pointless, but I don't think we'll see the payoff in the next season. I don't want to know if we do or not. For the listeners out there, we won't spoil that, but I don't think we'll get the payoff for that in the next season. I think this is that's definitely got the feeling of a long play, a very long play.
Yeah, that's the long ball game for Sukuna. I feel like that's not going to... Honestly, like, if I was writing the story, I'd feel like I'd put that at the end when they're about to kill Yuji.
Yeah. I was kind of...
If it ends up like that.
I was kind of excited. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast we've recorded, the podcast we've recorded up to this point. I'll say it again, but I was so excited for the fact that Sukuna doesn't come out of Yuji. Like he's not Yuji's trump card, where it's like, you know, when Yuji's when he was in that big fight in the Kyoto tournament arc, that he didn't just switch places with Sukuna and let him take on, you know, the superior curse, upper level curse. I like that, because if he would just relied on Sukuna all the time, it wouldn't be engaging. Like, it would just be a basic retelling of Naruto and the Nine Tails. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Naruto always busted out the Nine Tails whenever it was dire, so we always knew...
Or when he was pushed to his limit kind of thing. Yeah,
we always knew that if Naruto gets knocked down, Kumara will get back up. Kumara, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Pulled that one out of my ass.
Yeah, well done. And that's what also the whole being able to rely on him, it's a good dynamic that they've got with Sukuna, because technically, I mean, if he wanted to play it the way he wants to play it, like, he could just let Yuji die, sacrifice the couple of fingers that he's got, and live on in the other fingers, and maybe live to see another day. But he's such an egomaniac, and he's so proud that he will not let any demon or sorcerer touch him.
That when we see it's Yuji and old mate fighting the
Mahito,
when they're fighting, and Yuji enters the domain, and Sukuna's
such a good scene.
And like Sukuna's just like, because when you enter a domain, it's basically souls touching is basically the context I get. So as soon as Yuji entered it, the soul of Sakuna was being touched by the other curse, and Sakuna was like,
Mahito,
I warned you to never touch me again. And he just obliterates him. It's so good.
So good. Destroys the domain. He's gushing. Interesting to notice, he couldn't stop that.
No, there was no healing. No.
No healing on that injury.
Wicked.
He had to sacrifice the body and kind of get away as a broken balloon. Yeah, man, Sukuna's got some of the most boss moments in this fucking series.
And he's barely used in this first season. Like, we actually don't get that much. For him being like the main crux of what the show's revolving around, we actually don't spend that much time with him. And I'm really grateful for that, because that means we just get to spend more time with him later, you know? Like, we're not going to be tired of this relationship going into the second season.
Yeah, no, there's still so much they can play on as well. Like, there's no character development. All you know is he had 4 arms and two faces.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Exactly. I know I'm dying to talk about Gojo, but I've just remembered something that I wanted to talk about. During the last episode, it's kind of hinted at that when Yuji ate the cursed finger, it kind of activated all the other cursed fingers to start causing a bit of mayhem and mischief.
Yep.
And the fact that both Megumi, Mega Man or whatever, and Megumi, I'm so bad with names. This is the
Mega Umi
31 episodes in, and I'm not going to get any better, so you just deal with it. Megumi, when he realizes what's happening with the fingers, and he's like, well, let's not... Don't tell him. And then Sakuna tells Yuji straight away, because he's a dick. And he's like, make sure you don't tell Megumi, because I don't want him to have that kind of stress. So it's like 2 people purposely keeping things to themselves that are causing them pain to stop the other ones from causing pain. Like,
from feeling.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just...
And that's like a massive building block of their friendship as well.
Yeah, and
you can see it really developing.
There's nothing more I love in anime than a true bromance, and this show has like 4 of them. It's fucking great.
Yeah, I like that they both come off as protectors as well. Normally you'd have one that wants to protect like them, and then the other one's just being an asshole. But he's an asshole and wants to protect.
Yeah.
And they're both looking out for each other, which is great. And then you got Nobara, who's just a sassy badass
with
bitch.
some of the best curse techniques in this whole series. I thoroughly enjoy everything she does. Big fan.
Yeah.
I am on the edge, buddy. We need to do
Let's
this.
do it.
We need to talk about Sensei, Goju, Senpai, Daddy.
Let's do it.
The main thing I want to know, and I've been dying to ask you, but I've waited this whole time. Did you know how pretty his eyes were in the manga?
I knew they were like almost white because of the way they drew them. You could just like they drew it in. You read enough manga and you can kind of
you pick up on the
get the
color
idea
palettes,
of the shading. What kind of shading means what. And I knew they were bright, but in the anime they're just so gorgeously
It's
done.
insane how pretty he is. Like the pale prince I've been waiting my entire life for. Like he is gorgeous.
I mean, he looks like he lives in a weeb cave and doesn't come out because he's so pale. He's got white hair.
Absolutely fantastic. And his cursed, I went to say his magical ability, but his cursed ability it's fantastic. The idea of using the curse ability of like infinite, like he literally draws on the power of infinite, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it gets much more fleshed out as well later on, which is fantastic. He gets like a little flashback before the next major arc happens. I mean, this whole episode I've just been thinking about like the similarities, the Rinnegan, like.
Oh man, he's basically a clone of Kakashi. But if Kakashi had, like maybe if Kakashi had Madara level, maybe not even Madara level, maybe like first Hokage level abilities, like Gojo it's amazing how feared he is and how strong he is. He could literally kill anyone if he if he wants to.
Yeah.
Like
Sorry.
Like seemingly his only limitation is how much effort he's choosing to put in at the time, or how
how much he could be fucked.
Exactly.
Because he loves to just play around. Really, it's you could kind of tell like he doesn't get to do it often, like fight, because when Jogo, the volcano spirit, attacks him. He was kind of impressed with the way he attacked him, and he was like, "Oh, this seems like a bit of fun." He's still not taking it serious, but he's finally like getting a bit of excitement out of fighting, whereas he normally just gets excited from taking the piss.
He even takes time during that fight to go get Yuji to teach him a lesson. Like it's he's taking it that not seriously that he took time to gather a spectator, like that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Like, talk about like how quick the guy is. He pretty much did instant transmission. So he's super fast, and he's attained such a mastery level of cursed energy where he can just make his body literally like almost instantly teleport somewhere.
And his domain ability too it's strikingly beautiful in the anime, and it is horrifically terrifying to think about. And like the line he has in the anime when he pulls the volcano curse into his domain, it's like, it's amazing when you're confronted with everything, the only thing you can do is nothing, and then he just rips his head off. It's like, oh my god, dude.
Literally like the top of a Coke ball just twists and
it's
pops.
like I had it in for that man the second he appeared on screen. Like the first scene in the first anime where he is sitting backwards on the chair. Like he's literally sitting backwards on the chair like a boss, like arms dangling down by his side and being like, hello. Like it's just like it's so
it's me, it's Gogo.
It's so typical cool guy shonen pro tag, but it's like it's on another level. He's a gorgeous man. And funny.
Yeah, and I tell you what, a big thing when he's fighting Sukuna and in that first scene, and he literally sits on his arm, like on his back.
Yeah,
that's freaking. That didn't happen in the manga, and I laughed when I saw it because you know that Sukuna is just dying inside that he got someone sat on him,
and you kind of get the impression that even though I don't think he would admit it, Sukuna is afraid of Gojo. Like he's
in his current state for sure,
and he is the funniest character we get in this series. in a series that has
Yeah.
like a few comedic characters, like Panda being one of them, but like he is very funny. And I
Yep.
normally hate funny characters in anime. Like any character that's played off to be funny or like the comic relief character, I tend to not like.
Yeah, especially when they do animate them in the way that he does get animated. Like he gets super stripped back to just basic
The
cartoon.
cartoon line drawings and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's plain the fact that he is taking the piss. It makes more sense than when you see it in, say, Demon Slayer, where they just like blank their face out.
Yeah.
Or I'm kind of like Naruto does it a couple of times. It plays to the fact that he's taking the piss, so the artists are taking the piss out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I it happens a lot too with Yuji and Nabaru. They kind of go into a lot of that like simple line drawing cartoons, especially when it comes to Megami. Their dynamic is always played off quite interesting, and normally I find it quite off-putting the sudden change in like a animation style when it goes to like that simple cartoony cutesy thing. But in this, it's adorable. I love it.
It is, and it's such a juxtaposition to the actual brutality of some of the like a decent portion of this, like, and how serious it is. Like, if for some reason it works, like it works in the younger stuff, because it's just like younger, like say Pokemon and stuff, or Dragon Ball Z or something like that. But for it to work in such a morbid at points anime, it's very interesting and well done.
Yeah, I as much as as I said, as much as I don't like it, and as much as I find those characteristics more suited to, like, as you said, a Pokemon or a Dragon Ball Z, I would be more than happy to see more of it in the second season, more of it to continue. I want this to be... I know it's ambitious to say after the first season, but I want this to be a top-tier shonen. I think it deserves to be a top-tier shonen, as long as it can keep up what it's doing, and as long as it continues to do what we said it was doing, as long as it continues to do these tropes that we're so familiar with it and do them perfectly, you know, or not even perfect's such a strong word, but do them to the degree of, you know, care that they're doing them to now, like put the effort in that they're putting in now, like,
and keep their own flavor.
Exactly.
It's still keeping its own flavor.
Man, I truly do love this series, and it is flawed. There is a lot of flaws in this series, but I truly do think Jujutsu Kaisen is it's art, you fucking Philistines, and get amongst it. It's great.
Get amongst it, because it is getting it.
It is getting it. It has been a fantastic episode, Johnny Rowe. I've
been super happy. Unfortunately, we had a little technical difficulty, Dorks, but apologies for that. It's all good.
It's all good. It's my Stone Age technology just breaking down again. It's all good. We'll wrap it up there. It's been an absolute pleasure and a pleasure to have you here, J Rowe. Make sure you are on all the socials at Lords of Dorktown, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and the Lords of Dorktown Reddit page, r/Lords of Dorktown.
Some Reddit.
We're on that Reddit for exclusive shit posting, so please get amongst it. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think that's it. John, you want to sign us off?
Guys, thanks for having us, and keep it dorky, baby.
You.